All right, let's talk about a spice that you probably have in your kitchen right now. Turmeric. Yeah, it's famous for that brilliant golden color, that earthy flavor, but today we're going to look past the spice rack and deep into the science. You know, for thousands of years, turmeric has been a huge deal in traditional medicine, but what does modern science have to say about it? We're going to explore the journey of this ancient spice, from a kind of folk remedy to something that scientists are intensely studying. And honestly, what they're finding is pretty amazing. So here is the thing. The magic of turmeric doesn't really come from the whole root itself. Nope. It comes from a very specific group of compounds inside it, called curcuminoids. And within that group, there's one that's the real star of the show. And that molecule is called curcumin. This is our main character. It's the primary active component that gives turmeric that vibrant color, but way more importantly, it's responsible for the powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties that have researchers all over the world so excited. Okay, so before we can really get what curcumin does, we need to understand the problem it's trying to solve inside our bodies. And that problem, it really boils down to two big concepts: inflammation and something called oxidative stress. Now, some inflammation is good, right? Like when you get a cut. But chronic inflammation, well, think of it like a faulty fire alarm in your body that just will not shut off. This constant state of high alert puts a massive strain on your systems, and it's now linked to a ton of diseases. At the same time, just by living and breathing, our bodies produce these things called reactive oxygen species, or ROS for short. They're a totally natural byproduct of our metabolism, but the key thing to know is that they are super unstable molecules. A great way to think of these ROS molecules is like tiny little damaging sparks flying off your body's engine. A few sparks are normal, no big deal. But when you get too many of them, it causes what's called oxidative stress. And this damage is a major, major driver of that chronic inflammation we were just talking about. It creates this nasty, vicious cycle. So, this is where curcumin comes into the picture. It's like the potential hero of our story, because scientists have found that it has a direct way of dealing with both of these problems, the inflammation and the oxidative stress. Research shows curcumin has this awesome two-pronged attack. First, it acts as a powerful antioxidant, so it can go in and directly neutralize those dangerous ROS sparks. And second, it actually helps to turn off that faulty inflammation alarm by blocking some of the key molecules that keep fueling the fire. But, and this is a huge but, there's a major plot twist in the story of curcumin. Turns out, you could eat turmeric all day long, and very, very little of that amazing active compound would actually get into your system to do any good. And this isn't just a theory. It's the central challenge. As this research points out, study after study has shown that our bodies are just really, really bad at absorbing curcumin. Most of it just passes right through us without ever getting into our bloodstream. This whole issue is called bioavailability. It's a measure of how much of a substance actually gets into your system to have an effect. And with curcumin, because it doesn't dissolve well in water, and our bodies break it down super fast, its bioavailability is naturally, well, terrible. But hey, this is science, right? A challenge like this is also a huge opportunity. So researchers are now tackling this bioavailability problem head-on with some absolutely incredible new technologies, all designed to get curcumin where it needs to go. First up, they've completely re-engineered how they get curcumin out of the turmeric root in the first place. The old school ways were pretty harsh, using toxic chemicals and high heat that could actually damage the good stuff. But these new green methods, they are so much smarter, using things like CO2 and ultrasound to gently and efficiently pull out the curcumin. And just look at the results. The difference is staggering. These new green methods aren't just cleaner, they are way more effective. We're talking about extracting over 3 times more of the good stuff compared to the old ways. That's a huge leap. Now, to solve the absorption problem, scientists are also creating something called nanoemulsions, and this is pretty cool. Think of them like microscopic delivery trucks. They wrap the curcumin up in a little protective bubble, which shields it from getting broken down and helps it sneak into the bloodstream much more easily. So the story is already pretty cool, right? But it gets even crazier. Because the story doesn't actually end with the yellow turmeric we all know. Its entire plant family, the Curcuma genus, is holding some truly mind-bending secrets. So researchers decided to investigate one of turmeric's cousins, a plant known as black turmeric. They did this super deep chemical analysis, basically running it through a high-tech scanner to see every single molecule inside. And, well, they found something that nobody was expecting.
Get a load of this. Look at what they found. These aren't just some random plant compounds. Perfenazine is a synthetic antipsychotic drug. Glimepiride is a manufactured medication for type 2 diabetes. And they were just growing inside this plant, naturally.
I mean, let that sink in. This is an absolutely stunning discovery. It's one thing to find a plant that has a medicinal effect. It is a whole other thing to find the exact complex molecules that we thought humans had only just invented in high-tech pharmaceutical labs. It just goes to show nature has been a master chemist for a very, very long time. So where does all this leave us? Well, the research is pretty clear that the compounds in the turmeric family have real, measurable effects on our biology. And now that science is finally cracking the code on how to get these compounds out and deliver them effectively, their potential is becoming more and more real. This whole journey, from a simple kitchen spice to a natural source of complex pharmaceuticals, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other powerful secrets are hidden away in the plant kingdom, just waiting for us to find them?